Hello and welcome to this edition of Coffee Break Conservation, where today we're going to look at a thatched roof which decayed after only 14 years. I don't think that is particularly common, and there are some specific reasons why this roof decayed so quickly. Most specifically, the pitch of the roof, the orientation of the building, and the provenance of the material used. So let's have a look at a thatched roof. Just a very quick introduction. Thatch is typically straw or water reed. Straw can be in the short form, which we tend to call combed wheat reed, although long straw is also used, but now very rare and very hard to get hold of. And if you have a roof or a client with a roof with long straw on it, you might be looking at a year to 2 years. That's 2 growing seasons ahead before you can get sufficient material to do a complete re-thatch, although normally supplies are available for repairs. Water reed is also used in some areas, and it's fair to say now that about 80% of water reed which is used in the UK is now imported from elsewhere, typically China, Ukraine, Turkey. These locations do export a lot of water reed which is used here. On the inside of a thatch roof, it might look typically something like this, with what looks to be fairly randomly spaced battens, handmade twine holding the thatch on. If it's an older roof, these days modern thatch roofs tend to be using very long steel twine and screws which secure it, but either way the thatch needs to be very securely tied to the roof, or it will literally just slide off. These are the things you need to look out for. Under chimneys particularly, those darker areas you can see on this photograph are very severely decayed thatch, and it will not take too many winters before that starts to penetrate through the thickness of the thatch to the inside, and a leak will occur. So anytime you see dark areas like that, this is always the first sign. Well, actually, it's not the single first sign. This is always an indication that the roof is suffering, and there would have been earlier signs which would have triggered those thought processes. So the roof that I want to show you is this one, and I'm going to run a short video. It's only about a minute. There is some commentary on it, but it is very, very faint, so you might need to turn your volume up. But you don't really need to do that, because I'll give a few comments and you can just watch the pictures. So the roof, you'll see I poked my finger through the mesh. There you go. It is heavily decayed. Look, required there was no resistance at all. Bearing in mind this was only 14 years old. That moss is an indication of the fact that the thatch is not draining properly. And typically you'll see that on northern and northeast slopes. Around that dormer window, we can see a very heavy channel where water will be cascading down on a heavy rainy day and further advancing the decay. See a very small repair there. So the critical things that need to be considered. Look, we've got another chimney there with a valley coming underneath it. It's a very common location. The things that we need to be looking out for when looking at thatched roofs: the provenance of the material used. What is it? Where did it come from? That is very critically important. The provenance of the thatcher itself, so the skill of the thatcher, is very important. So if you could have a really good material done by a less experienced thatcher, you're still likely to get failure. So you need those two things need to be very well researched. And finally, the pitch of the roof. Thatch requires very steep pitched roofs, certainly in excess of 45 degrees, and the steeper the better, really, so the water can run off as quickly as possible. So there you go, very quick little introduction into a thatch failure after only 14 years. Please do like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on social media, and we'll see you again on another video. Thank you.